Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new, welcome to my channel. My name is Jackie, and in my channel, A Dollar Tree Mimi's World, I do store shop with me trips, usually Dollar Tree, and those are usually on Mondays. I also do store shopping hauls, usually Dollar Tree, and those are usually on Wednesdays. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, I like to do Dollar Tree DIYs or thrift store revamping, trash to treasure, and upcycling. So if you enjoy this type of content, then this channel is definitely for you. And I'd invite you to subscribe to my channel and watch some of my other videos. I have them all in specific playlists for your convenience. I also enjoy participating in lots of open invite DIY challenges throughout the week. And in this video, I have 3 Valentine's DIYs to share with you. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take 2 of these tinsel hearts. And so I'm just going to remove everything off these hearts. I'm going to remove the ribbon. I'm going to remove all the tinsel. And it's pretty easy to remove. So just pull and it should remove pretty easily. And I tried not to ruin the love wording. Even though it's a cardboard, like a thin cardboard, it's really pretty. So I just thought, oh, I'm not gonna ruin it. So I was kind of careful to make sure not to ruin it. Anyway, I went ahead and removed the tinsel off both hearts. Okay, so now with all the tinsel off, I'm ready to paint them because I don't need them to be red. I want them to be a neutral color. So I'm going to go in with this Waverly chalk paint in the color Cashew. And I know I could probably spray paint this and it'd probably be quicker, but it was nighttime already by the time I was doing this and I didn't want to be out there at night. And I watched my grandson in the morning, so that was out. So chalk paint it is. We do what we got to do. So I'm taking this brush and I'm just going to brush it real quick. I like this bigger brush for this kind of project because it really gets into all the little spots and it does a better coverage than the little smaller paintbrushes that I usually use. So these are the ones from Dollar Tree, and like I said, they work pretty well. So really it took me no time to paint these hearts, just the framing of it. And I did both sides on both hearts. Okay, so here they are all painted. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to hot glue them together to make like a puffed heart. So I'm just gonna flip it over and I'm going to just hot glue some of the points and get it all adhered and sturdy so I can begin to twine it up. Okay, so now I'm ready to twine it up, and I'm just going to pull some jute twine and I'm going to find a spot in the middle of the top and tie it. There's the little peaks that are pointing out. I'm just going to secure it there, and I'm going to use those to twine it up. So I'm just going to go back and forth in a loop out, loop in, kind of go back and forth, if you can kind of tell. So I just go one way up and one way down, and I just go in this pattern all the way around the heart. And so I just continue that until I get it all done. And I just hold each point that I complete so it doesn't slip off. And I do end up going back a couple times that it did slip off. But once you get it real tight, it should not come up. It should not come off. It should be secure. So just keep going in this pattern until you're all done. And if you want to go around one more time, you can do that. But I didn't. I just went ahead and tied it off right here. Snipped off a piece and just made a knot and called it a day. Okay, so now that I have that part done, now I'm going to find another spot and tie some twine and just start twining it up. So right here, I choose to go on this corner up top. And so I'll secure it with a good knot. And I'll just take my twine, and there's really no pattern. I just kind of went diagonal and any which way, just really any which way. Just have at it, have fun with it. Just take your time and just twine it up. So I'm going to do this real quick. So now I'm at the point where I feel like I've done enough. So I'm just going to secure it with one final knot in the back on the bottom. And so I just secure it and make a good knot, a good strong knot. And I'm done for now. Okay, so now I'm just going to take some of this rope and I'm just going to figure out if I have enough to go around the perimeter of this heart. And I didn't, so I had to get another piece. So I'm going to secure a little spot here on the center of the top. And I'm just going to glue that and hold it. And I'll just glue as I go because the hot glue does dry or cool down quickly. So I'll just add some glue, add the rope, add some glue, add the rope, add some glue, add the rope, until I go all the way around, until I'm done. Okay, now I'm at the end of my rope. Okay, so now, I know that was bad. Okay, so now I'm just going to take the two ends and I'm going to join them together and just put a little dab of glue and adhere them, because I'm going to utilize this piece to create a loop like a hanger. So I'm just going to tie a piece of rope that I split in like a third of it, and I'm just going to tie it and make a little hanger. So that's what I'm going to do with that little piece. Otherwise, it's kind of an awkward little piece. So I figured this is the best way to conceal those two little pieces. I guess I could have glued them to the back, but, well, I needed a hanger anyway, so, hey. Kill two birds with one stone. So I'm going to use one of these clips, these laundry clips, and you get them in the laundry section of the Dollar Tree, and I love using these clips. They've saved my fingers from getting burnt so many times. So my little heart is done for now. Now it's time to embellish. So now I'm going to take some of this burlap ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and I love this burlap ribbon because it has the lace in the middle. So it's like they took the two steps that you would normally do. They took care of it for you. You just put one piece of ribbon and you got the lace and you got the ribbon and you got the burlap. It's like a win-win. So I'm just going to set it here diagonally, and I'm going to add a little dab of glue on one end, and I'm going to fold the other side and glue that portion to the other end. And I want to make sure I glue the ends, that way there's nothing coming out. It looks finished. And I'm using my little rubber spatula, my silicone spatula, to help hold everything down so the glue doesn't seep out and get me. Okay, so now I'm going to take one of these galvanized letters or words from the Dollar Tree. These are actually from last year. I haven't seen them this year yet. So these are actually leftovers from last year, and I couldn't decide whether I wanted to use Valentine's, X and O, or love, but I ended up choosing love because why not? So I'm going to add a little dab of glue onto the frame of the heart just to help hold down the middle portion of the burlap ribbon. And now that it's adhered and secure, I'm going to add my galvanized metal love word. So I'm just going to add some glue to both sides, and I got to work quickly too, because once you add hot glue to galvanized metal, it just dries so quickly, cools down so fast. So you have to work a little bit quick. Okay, so now, and also you have to be careful when you press down, the metal's going to be hot. So just be careful with that too. These little galvanized words. Okay, so now it's on there. And so now I'm going to get some fairy lights, and these are from the Dollar Tree. These are the copper wired fairy lights. And so I really like them because they give off a really warm glow to the light. The only thing is you have to add your batteries, and they take 2 AA batteries. And the ones from Amazon, they already bring the batteries, so they're a little bit more convenient. But I wanted to make this all Dollar Tree, so hence, going to use the Dollar Tree fairy lights. Gotta use the Dollar Tree batteries. Okay, so get those batteries in and secure it with the little screw. And I'm just going to try to find a place to secure it on my frame. So I ended up deciding to place it on the bottom portion. So I take a zip tie and I just go ahead and zip it on there. One of those cable ties, zip ties, and secure it on there really well. Tighten it up. And then snip off the excess. And when I need to change the battery, I just need to snip off the cable tie, zip tie, so there's no worries. Okay, so now I'm going to thread all the wires up into the puffed heart, and I'm going to use a wooden dowel to help me guide it all in there, because my fingers can't reach all the way in there. So, and it also helped turn the lights on. That helped a lot, because then I can see where the lights will actually shine. So that's helpful. And if you do this, just kind of figure out where you want to place them. I decided I wanted mine on the top because the bottom portion is going to have some florals. So I wanted to kind of look like, I don't know, like just twinkling lights above the florals. And so that was the look I wanted. And what's really good about these lights also is the wire is really flexible, and you can bend them and put them in place how you would like. And you can poke them through, you can leave them inside, you can do however you'd like. So I definitely utilize that convenient part of this. So some of them are poking out a little bit and like wrapped around the twine, and some of them are just placed just right. So now I'm going to go in with some of these wildflowers from the Dollar Tree, and these flowers are so pretty. The stems, the leaves, the whole thing, they're like a better quality compared to the regular florals that the Dollar Tree has. The green portion is more of like a kind of like a rubbery, kind of like a texture, like a rubbery texture. Don't really know how to explain it, but it's definitely a better quality type of floral than the regular florals that they carry. So first I was thinking I was just going to use a couple here and there, but then I thought, oh no, I'm going to use the whole thing. So I take my EMT shears and I just snip it off like butter. Yes, like butter. So now I'm going to create like a little bundle and try to make a little bouquet, try to arrange them. And it's not hard to arrange these because, like I said, they're a wildflower. And wildflowers, they don't really have any rhyme or reason. They just grow wild. So So just place them how you like, or whatever florals you like to use. And I wanted to go with a neutral kind of style, so that's why I chose these flowers as well. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with some glue, and I'm just going to glue it up. I mean, I'm going to go to town, and I'm going to glue it up. I want to make sure it's all secure. I don't want any flowers falling off. I want these to stay. And so I'm going to take a little piece of this same ribbon, this burlap ribbon with the lace, and I'm going to use it, but I don't want to use the whole thing because it's just too thick. So I'm going to fold it down and secure it with some glue to where just the lace is showing, but the burlap does show as well, but just a little bit. So I'm going to secure that and use my silicone spatula so I don't burn my fingers. And so now once that's cool and ready, I'm going to use my scissors and just snip off the corners to create a V shape, because it's going to go on the bottom, and so I want it to look really cute and perfect on there. So I'm just going to go in with a little bit of glue, and I'm going to secure that on there, and that'll cover up all the little ends of the stems and any imperfections. And so it's a win-win. And also so the battery pack doesn't shine through. It might show through, you never know. So this helps all that. Helps conceal all the unwanted stuff. Okay, so now she's done. Look how pretty. Oh my goodness. And let's light her up. Look how pretty she looks. Oh my goodness. She is gorgeous. Look at that. Wow. It's like bam. Okay, so we'll go on to the next one. Okay, on to DIY number 2, and this is a real simple one, so I'm going to speed it up so we can go quickly. So I'm going to take one of these shadow boxes from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to remove all the embellishments that's inside. And first I was trying to remove the paper, but then I thought, oh, I'm just going to paint it. So I just paint everything, paint it all white with my chalk paint. And once I'm done, I'm going to set it aside so it'll dry. And in the meantime, I'm taking one of these Valentine heart bags, and they come 2 in a pack from the Dollar Tree. And I'm just going to snip off the bottom portion, and I'm going to snip off just the section that I'm going to need. So just one front section. And so now I'm going to remove the handle portion of the bag, and it's just adhered with some extra paper. And so I'm going to peel that off gently. I don't want to rip the hearts in the front. So I just take my time with that and peel that off. And so now that I'm done with that, I'm going to see how it fits. I need to snip off a little bit and snip off a little bit on the top. And I didn't show it on here, but I did put Mod Podge on the inside of this little frame. So once that's on there, I'm taking some of these numbers from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to add the number 14 to one of the red hearts, and that's it. This one is done. Just a simple. Okay, now on to DIY number 3. I'm going to take some of these wooden hearts from the Dollar Tree, and I want to use the natural ones. So I want to use 4 of these small ones and 1 of the large ones, and then 1 of this kind of like a fancy shaped one. And my reasoning is if you guys know me by now, you know my grandchildren. So the big one's going to represent my husband and I, or my home. And then the fancy one is going to represent my granddaughter. And then the little ones I can represent my grandsons. I have 4 grandsons. So I'm going to go in with some white chalk paint, and I'm going to paint all these white. And so I'm just going to paint them real quick. Once they're painted, I'm just going to set them aside to dry. And now I'm taking one of these galvanized metal like signs, and they have like a little screws on the back that's holding the wooden piece that's on the front. And this one had a star, but I don't need the star. So I'm going to take my little screwdriver and I'm going to remove these screws. And they're just teeny tiny little screws. So I'm just going to set it aside for now and move on. So now I'm going to take one of these little crates from the Dollar Tree and my Waverly antiquing wax, and I'm going to paint this real quick. Okay, so now I'm going to take my corrugated galvanized plate, my little sign, and I'm going to add my little hearts, kind of place them where I think I want them. And so I want to make sure where I want to place them before I commit to the glue, because these little hearts are hard to remove once the glue's on there, because they're just thin little wood hearts. So I'm just going to add the glue and get them all adhered. So now I'm going to take some jute twine and I'm going to utilize those little holes that are on the back. So I thread through the holes, the jute twine, and I'm going to wrap the twine around the little crate to kind of secure it on there, and also to give it a look, to give it that natural look. And so I'm just going to secure it with a knot, and I'm also going to go in with some hot glue, but first I want to do the twine. So once I get that secure, I'm going to snip off the excess. And so now I'm going to add some glue to the bottom portion and the top portion, just to make sure everything is nice and secure, because I don't want my little kissing booth to fall apart. It's going to have candy in it, so I want it to be nice and secure. Okay, so now that I'm done with that portion, I'm going to set it aside. And now I'm going to take a popsicle stick, one of the jumbo ones, and a wooden dowel, and I'm going to use my EMT shears to snip off the rounded portions and cut to size of the width of the crate, and also cut this wooden dowel in half with my miter shears. And I'm going to go in with the same antiquing wax to paint all this. Okay, I didn't film this portion, but I also painted I painted 2 of the tumbling tower blocks, and they're going to be the little feet of the crates. And so I'm just going to glue those on there real quick, one on one side of the bottom and one on the other side of the bottom. So now I'm going to attach the little poles that go on the inside corners of the front. So just add a couple dabs of glue and just hold them down. And now I'm going to add my little sign. But first I'm going to add a really cute vinyl that I made with my Cricut Joy. And it's going to say Kissing Booth. And I apologize that I'm a little bit out of frame here, but I get my little vinyl on and I'll show you in a minute. I'll get up close. See? Cute. So now I'm going to take one of these little stickers from the Dollar Tree, and there's a perfect little red heart in here, and it's shiny and it's pretty. So I'm just going to stick that in the middle, and now I'm just going to attach my little sign to the poles, and that's it. She's done. Well, no, hold on, not yet. We have to add the kisses, right? It's a kissing booth. So I have some Hershey's Kisses here. I have some silver and some pink. And so I just go ahead and just dump them in there. But then I thought, oh my goodness, I feel like I need more bags of kisses and I don't have any more. So I just dump them out. And I decided to get some tissue paper to kind of help fill in the bottom. So I do that real quick, and then I add my Hershey's Kisses, and then I'm done. But she's so cute. Look how adorable.